Okay, a quick follow-up to my last video with the ring light. Now, a lot of you asked if I was shooting TTL because I was moving back and forth all the time. At times I was, at times I wasn't. So my method is literally my fingers are on the aperture all the time. Now, when you first start this, it'll be difficult because you have to judge, should I open up? Should I close up? Obviously, if you move further away, you open up a little bit. If you move closer, you close up. But if you set your camera to show you, the picture for that, like, I forget what it's called. It's like a half second. It shows you the picture and then goes away. Or if you press the shutter, it'll go away. Start it that way. Okay. So start taking the pictures, adjust your aperture, and you're going to get to know just a couple shots, maybe 10 shots. You'll know where your aperture needs to be at what distance you're at. And then you can shut that off so it doesn't distract you. But, that preview, that's preview, right? Such an easy word, and I can't pronounce it. Anyway, so everything's in manual. The cameras, the flash is in manual. Take the shot, okay, and make that adjustment. Once you know that, then step back, take a shot, open up a little bit. And then when you get closer, close up. And then you'll get used to it. You'll see the preview really quick. Once you understand it, once you know where your aperture has to be with the distance, then you could shut off that preview. So again, it's not distracting, and you'll have no problem moving back and forth and around. Moving subjects, even easier with this because this is moving with you. It's like it doesn't matter. They can be moving anywhere they want. This is moving with you. The light is always at the same axis as your lens. So a moving subject isn't an issue with this at all. Anyway, I hope that helps. Let's get into the shoot. I'll try to show you me moving this aperture while I'm shooting and show you the results. But all manual today, adjusting manually for the distance, and you'll see the results.
Now for the second shoot that I'm doing with the ring flash, we're using all flash, no ambient. So I'm going to be shooting at a lower ISO, 64, and I'm shooting in between f4 to f9, believe it or not. And mostly I'm around f5, 5.6, but I do go down to f8 quite a bit as well. It just depends on my distance. The closer I am, I'm at f8, f9. The further I am, one time I was f4, but usually it's f5, 5.6, because I really wanted to shoot what this light can do on its own without the ambient light, without fill like that. The key here again is moving that aperture as you move in, and it does take a little bit of practice. You set your preview on so you can get the shot and look immediately to see where you're at, and then you can just make that fine adjustments with the aperture. I don't mind using the aperture to control the light. You'll see here my fingers on the aperture. When I move back, I open it up. When I move forward, I close the aperture down. So like right here, I'm shooting at 5.6. The closer I am, the more closed the aperture is. Just a little bit of practice, I promise you, and you're going to get it really quickly because you're all within the same shoot. The further away you are like this, I believe this was an f4. But now here's the other thing. The inverse square law, better known as the background gets darker when you get closer with the light. It's magnified with a ring light, because the light is so concentrated on the lens. It seems like quite a bit more concentrated. You can see the halo around her and the background's a little bit darker. But when I move in closer, that fall off is going to be so much more quick. You'll see in this next shot, you see how dark the backdrop got just because I moved in closer to her. Obviously I'm adjusting the aperture and closing it down for this shot, but that light is not traveling back to that backdrop as much as it was when I was further away. For me, for this light, if I'm out and about and not using a white backdrop, I don't care about the backdrop like that. I don't mind the look. I just don't look like the gray look with a ring light. The second I move her closer to the backdrop, you still have that slight halo you can see around her, but it's not nearly as bad. I pump that light up. I'm shooting at power probably 1/4, 1/16, give or take. Sometimes I go up a little bit depending, but I'm trying to get rid of the ambient light here, so I'm at a higher power and, closing down my aperture just to make sure that the ring light is providing all the light. But I really wanted to show you this side of the ring light as well, not only with mixed light or fill. I know a lot of people say they love to use it for fill, and it is a great fill light. But this light on its own with nothing else, and it being the primary light, really does an amazing job. And, it definitely helps with skin and that kind of stuff because there's nowhere for a blemish to leave a shadow and make it look worse than it actually is. But if you like the look, which I absolutely love, I love this look. um, this is the way to go. Now, the Godox Ring Flash, I don't use the grid. It's not a big thing for me. I've never used the gels, but I do love this reflector. This is one uh, accessory I would definitely recommend if you're looking into this ring flash. And, I'm using the 8200 Pro Mark II. You can use any 8200 from the first one to the Pro 2. It'll work just fine. But what a setup. And, the light quality is just spectacular. I do love the color science with this flash tube. It is working for me. It still goes the ever so slight to magenta, but not bad at all. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below.